Welcome to the Software People Stories. I'm Shiv.
I'm Chitra.
And I'm Gayatri.
We bring you interesting, untold stories of people
Associated with the creation
or consumption of software-based solutions.
You'll hear stories of what worked
and sometimes what didn't.
You will also hear very personal experiences
and insights that would trigger your thoughts
and inspire you to do even greater things.
Before we jump into today's conversation, a special thanks to PM Power Consulting for encouraging and supporting this show right from the start. With over 1,000 person-years of collective experience, PM Power has helped many organizations, teams, and individuals chart out their own journeys of excellence and make progress. Thank you, PM Power. Now, let's move to today's episode.
In the new year, we have a dynamite conversation with Kumaran Anandan, who's an architect as well as a CTO of TinyMagiq. In this conversation, he shares challenges that he's gone through early on in the career, as well as how it has shaped his thinking in terms of how to think about architecture, technology, how value gets added on a daily basis. And he talks about how wonderfully he adds information as well as how he thinks about things and covers the concept of effect of compounding so very well with examples, little nuggets, and great set of stories. Listen on. Welcome to the Software People Stories, Kumaran. So happy to have you.
Thank you.
For our guests, I know I have known you through Sukumar for almost 8-9 years at least. So I'm so happy to finally meet you through this channel. How would you introduce yourself to our audience, Kumaran?
A person who keeps experimenting and curious to see what all things will fail, and looking forward to looks forward to failures.
Okay, right. Very interesting way to introduce. I know you are a CTO for TinyMagiq, and you also have been enterprise architect for several years. And what is your earliest memory of software? I mean, I know when we started our career long ago, I think you did your graduation in CIT. Was software
correct.
part of your curriculum at all that time?
Yeah, I did do my BE computer science.
Okay.
And in fact, even before I got a job, the first thing I did was I used to be a economics professor in a college. So his family was running a school, and one of the first things we did is there used to be a application called DBase 3+. So after I finished college, we could stay for another 2 months in the hostel. So me and another friend alone stayed in the hostel and actually finished that application for the school. So that was, and after that I was jobless for around 5 months. I didn't get a job. So the first thing I wrote, and I remember in the school day, they gave me a watch. So that was my first earning as a person who developed software. I got a watch in that school. So
okay. Very interesting. And now I can't imagine somebody actually not able to get a job right after the computer science graduation, particularly in a such a coveted school.
Yeah, I was not one of the brightest students. In the class of 25, I was at some 12 or 13 like that. So others, I think around 8 or 9 had got campus placements, and I did not.
Okay. So what is your earliest memory of software in terms of its potential? What could be the potential kind of a thing? I know it's increased so much beyond our expectation, but what was your early memory and what pulled you into this space?
Okay, so if you look at it that way, then it was in my 10th holidays. Actually, my dad, he had got a programmable calculator, Casio. So he used to stay in Gulf. When he had come, he had got it back.
Okay.
And me and another friend, there was a basic GW basic course that was there when we had finished 10th. So he had gone for that. And I remember we actually doing that, writing that first program on that programmable calculator. That was during my 10th holidays. So that would be 87, I guess. So
Wow.
that was the first software that I had wrote. And interestingly, along with that came, I don't think many would even know something like this or would have used it. You actually connect the that programmable calculator, you connect it to a device, and from that device an output will come, which you connect it to a tape recorder, and you store the program in an audio cassette tape.
Wow. Okay.
Well, even before drives were there. So we could write a program, store it in an audio tape, and when you want to get it back, you play the audio player and then get it back, get the program. So this was even before hard disks came. So I don't think even people can even think that, oh, we could actually store a program in audio cassette.
Wow. I did not realize that. Even today, I didn't know that you could do that. Very interesting. So, what is your journey like when you started? You started in the software industry. I know you were also project manager and then became an architect. What sort of early career decisions you had to take, Kumaran?
It was, for me, it was a very interesting journey. I was always interested in hardware. So for me, software was more about how do I make things happen in the real world. Writing a program was not really that interesting to me.
Okay.
So yeah, I was actually looking for. So the first job which I landed up was in hardware, where I start the first code which I wrote. One was this finance thing which I wrote for school that was in something called DBase 3 Plus. Then as a job, my first job was actually in a company which today we call it IoT. Right? At that time, it was just called industrial automation. So internet was not there, but then the fundamentals were pretty much the same. So I had to write code for 8085 processes. So we used to write code in assembly and then moved that. Then we did it in C, then we did it in C++. And in the same company, I used to write antivirus software. It was a very small company in Velachery at that time. And that was the time when the office was in Velachery that used to place, I mean, it's still there, called Dandeshwar Nagar. So it was a small house, and when rain comes, water will come inside the
Early
house.
90s.
So so we'll actually keep the foot on the top of the stool and work. There'll be half an inch or half a foot of water under the chairs. So we'll still continue working. All the wires will be on top and we'll continue working. So that was, there used to be hardware. It was for industries, then work for TVS, London Rubber Company, many companies like that, where the companies to develop the hardware and we used to develop, so the hardware team did. So that's where it actually started. And then literally moved up the stack, assembly, C++. And then after that, I wanted to go to US. At that time, this industrial engineering was not that popular. So I moved into application software. And that was with Turbo C++. And that was for a company called Deutsche software. It was a part of Deutsche Bank.
Okay.
And then after that, I moved to Wipro. Wipro again was a little bit of hardware, software. We used to do work for hardware companies like Casio, Epson, one of the first digital cameras. So in fact, like it's very fun. They used to have something called PDS, personal digital assistants. So in '97, I've written mobile applications technically. So the
Excellent.
concept of mobile itself wasn't there.
Exactly. I was just
But they were actually, but they were mobile applications technically. So
correct.
it runs on a mobile device,
Hmm.
but it was for custom and that was made by Casio. And then in 2000 is when I moved into internet, and that too was again, it was just I was in Bangalore, me and my wife. We were working in this embedded group, and we were having our first kid. My parents were here, so poor things. Parents are the always fall back for any plans that we want to have. So we moved back here so that my parents could take care of the kid. And in Chennai, it was only just application software only was there. So we moved to application software. So that was probably the first time I wrote my internet application in Java.
Through Wipro.
And then
This was okay. Okay. All right.
This was it. This was in '99.
Okay.
And 2000, I left Wipro and I started my own company in Bangalore. That was ran that for 3 years during the internet boom. And when the bubble burst, our company also burst. So,
Oh God.
close that. So closed that company, and then after that I was at a startup for another year. That also didn't do well. So successfully closed that also. And then after that I joined Microsoft in 2005. And till 2015 I was with Microsoft.
Okay.
And then after this TinyMagiq.
Okay. Wow.
So if you look at it, I worked, my company at a peak was 25 people. So when we started, we were around 5 people. So if you look at it, it's like industrial automation, large-scale banking applications, small five-man company, a Wipro services like a 100,000 services company. Then something like Microsoft, it's a product company working on C, working on embedded device, working on application server, software. ERP is one thing which I haven't actively worked on. So that will
Okay.
seen quite a bit of these things. And a lot of times when I tell this, people will, I mean, like generally at least the new developers will actually ask me, oh, okay, having worked in so many different types of software and technology, what do you like the most? I said, any technology when I do for a project, if it helps me not look at my computer after 6 o'clock and weekends, I don't have to look at it, that is good technology.
Very, very interesting way to think about technology also, Kumaran. Because, I mean, I don't think I have also, I think I've spent about a little less than 3 decades. I don't think I have the depth of experience that you're talking about in terms of so many, different varieties. It's
I was
amazing.
very lucky. I was
Mm.
very lucky that I think it's all luck only. It was not like there were some decisions which I took, and probably the only conscious decision which I took is one of the first jobs which I get, I don't consider that as a job itself, is I had got a job in a company which was doing some work for Citibank. That was technically my first job. And I was getting around 3,000 rupees at that time. And I actually consciously quit that job to say I want to work on hardware. So I moved from a 3,000 rupees salary to a 1,500 rupees salary. I went from Mount Road to Velachery, which was Mount Road was Shakti Towers. That building is still there. It was a cool office. From there, I went to some indescript independent house in Velacheri. At that time, Velacheri itself was like one, there was nothing there, literally.
Yeah.
So I think that was one very conscious decision. The second thing, I always wanted to run a company, so that was not a big deal, quitting Wipro and starting my own company. Rest of the other things were lucky. And another good thing that happened to me was when I joined Microsoft Consulting Services. I was not a part of the product team.
Okay.
And one thing with consulting services was it's a very expensive service for customers. So in India, we used to charge around $120 in 2005 itself.
Per hour?
Per hour.
Wow.
Per hour.
Okay. Amazing.
So the effect of that is, and this is for Indian customers.
Okay. Okay.
So the thing is, because it's so expensive, two things will always happen. One, customers will only call us when there is a big problem. If there is something small, they will not call us.
Only when it is complex and complicated, they will call you.
Or some big fire is burning, then we'll be called in. The other interesting thing is it will never be a long engagement or a big one. Because it's so expensive, it will be very limited. It will be like the longest thing in this entire 10 years that I have worked on was one company where I had worked for. In a year, I had billed 600 hours. To give you an idea, it is 1,300 hours is our total billing time.
Okay. So almost 50% of that year you had spent
that
on
was
the
that
company.
was just 1 year. That was
Okay.
just 1 year.
Okay. Wow.
But my average things will be around 150, 200 hours per
Okay.
engagement.
A couple of follow-up questions I think I want to ask in this kind of a tenure, right? In terms of how do you keep yourself skilled? See, where most of us, at least I have learned most of my skills through working with companies. So working in building projects. I know we are building the company firm, but to some extent we are also building on top of what we know, right? So that's really how I have learned all my skills. But if you, as a consultant, go in, how do you skill yourself for that particular thing? I don't know if it's too delicate a question or
No. There are two things that happened. Like, see, when I didn't get a job in campus interview. So,
Okay.
and I was fairly good at programming and other stuff. So one of the things during those 5 months, it was like literally like in the movies. I'll go take resume and give the security guy will take our resume and shoo us off. Me and my other friends used to do that, literally. So we go to every company, give our resume, and the security or the reception will take it and then say, go away. So during that 5 times, I kind of told myself that Kumaran of yesterday will not be the Kumaran who goes to sleep today. Okay, I learned something new, a very simple thing. So it could be during initial times, it was this technology, and then other things started coming in, psychology, neuroscience, change management, process, like that. So it will be like, so that way, learning something new became a habit, and it was a hard way. I said, the Kumaran yesterday and Kumaran today, definitely, if you ask me today, what is the new thing, I'll tell you something. That not a day will go by without telling that. It's the same thing which I had today. I know something new in something else. Anything.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So every single day it will be like that. And then the power of compounding becomes very high. So when you learn a lot of small things, and with the experience you can connect them, it becomes very big. That's one thing. The second thing is when I learn something, I will always want to understand what's beneath the hood. I don't want to look at it at the top level. And I think that was by nature, by myself. Like I was one of the naughtiest or the mischievous kid in my family and my friend circle, to the extent that if I go to some house and something is broken, they'll say Kumaran was here. So that curiosity to open things and see how it works will always be there. So when I learn a concept, I won't take it at face value that, okay, it's working. I have to understand how it works. So that gives me curiosity and that energy to learn further. So both these things together, I'll learn something new and I will learn how it works below the surface, will be a thing which will keep on making me learn something or the other. And it had nothing to do with job or work.
Mm.
If it is work, it becomes even more hyper. Okay. Otherwise, it will still be there. So this is something when you do it daily and constantly over a period of time, things start falling in place. So
Okay.
when I would have some question in mind, and then it would come, and when I see that person, that question will pop up to my mind, and then I'll ask them that. Maybe that question is something which I've been having for the past 2 years. And I say, "Oh, I was looking for you. Only answer this question to me."
Okay. Okay. Now, interesting.
So that it's basically, if you ask, the fundamental is about a deep commitment to know something. That's something that you make to yourself. It's got nothing to do with work or job. And then lot of times life will throw funny googlies. I'm sure it's for everyone. I still remember when I joined Microsoft. I joined on the third day. I was going to one company, and then my manager said they have some problem with the SMS server. Help them troubleshoot. As I was going, somebody told me, I was thinking, SMS, what is the big thing? It is just sending one text. Okay, so I was coming from my embedded. So, okay, maybe some PC, they want to send some SMS or something like that. As we were going in the car, I realized that the other guy was traveling. He said it's systems management server. And that was a application which will monitor all the infrastructure in the company.
Okay. It's not a SMS short messaging server.
It had nothing to do with it. Okay, so that guy was a administrator of that application.
Okay.
Okay, and I from the software had to figure out how to get data from it and automate that process.
Okay.
So, so that's another thing which, when it goes like that, of course, it was very scary at that point in time. From Microsoft, there's nobody else. And one good thing that happened is in Microsoft, it's a very interesting thing. Nobody teaches anybody anything. And you learn by yourself. There are enough and more systems around. And we all were individual contributors. It's not like I'll go ask a senior, work with them and learn. Like,
Okay.
so there will be general DLs,
Hmm.
distribution lists, group. So you put questions to them, somebody will answer. And that will
Okay.
be across company wide.
Okay.
So that was another culture that Microsoft taught me. Anyway, I used to learn. And this was, so to me, Microsoft was a boon in disguise. Till then, I didn't have anybody to ask also.
Okay. Okay.
So Microsoft,
Hmm.
definitely I would say was great, because if I take a typical company, if I take 1,000 people, the kind of depth questions that I wanted to ask, I'll get one or two people.
Hmm.
In Microsoft, I will get 2 in 100. There I will get 2 in 1,000.
Okay. 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 Interesting.
Definitely, that's the amount of people who knew stuff, who I could talk to, was significantly higher in Microsoft.
Okay.
So, but
And
then they
also
won't
your
teach you.
access improved. Your access to them
Access.
also. Okay.
And they won't teach you. They'll just give you a pointer. You
Hmm.
ask them to teach you, they'll say, get lost.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll point you in one direction. They'll say, this is the resource, this is the thing. And you come with a specific doubt, they are more than happy. But if you say, tell me from A to Z, they'll say, get lost. I don't have time for you.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I think all these things together, it's like an avalanche, right? You learn by yourself. You're always looking for things. You're looking for questions. And then you have an environment where you can get some guidance. And then you have and you learn by yourself. So all these things sets you on a positive trajectory.
Okay.
So even today, like for example, after so many years, it's like what, 32 years since I finished college. I'm pretty much comfortable with code even today. And uh, uh, I can uh, help people with code, and I don't write production code, but then I do understand a lot of code today. And then the other important thing is, when I say knowing under the hood, it is about understanding fundamentals. And software is actually very simple. It's the most stupidest thing people can learn. And I'll tell you why I am telling that. Because software is very predictable. There are only three components to any software. Okay, there is no software which doesn't fit this. There is an input, there is a process, and there is an output.
Exactly.
Okay, anything that you do is going to fit this. But the moment you enter hardware world, these three tools don't exist. Input can be anything, processing can become anything, the output can become anything. Okay, because that's a real world.
Okay, because there is an amount of ambiguity and potential for failure.
No, not only that. The real world is very different. For example, if you say 2 volts, you measure, it will never be 2 volts. It will be 1.9, it will be 1.98, it will be 1.97 or 2.1, 2.0.
Okay.
You put just take a stabilizer and put it. You will never get 220 volts or 240 volts. It will always be something other than that. But in software, 2 plus 2 always will be 4. In the real world, 2 plus 2 is never 4.
Correct. One is deterministic, you're saying. Software is more deterministic in terms of what you can expect.
Only with AI, it is different and people don't know how to handle it. But in hardware, it's always been like that. People who work in real hard. That's why I call learning software is one of the easiest things to do. 2 plus 2 will always be 4. It will never become 5 or 4.1 or 3.1. Only with AI that changes happen. That too in the past 2 years. And most of the software do not know how to handle AI. They get scared. They are worried.
Yeah. Tell me about it. How much frenzy is happening in the AI world? Use of AI in software. Everybody is running helter-skelter.
So basically keep on learning new stuff and start understanding the fundamentals. Then it becomes, learning new software isn't really that complicated.
True. So I know you had a penchant for starting your own startup and enterprise software, and I saw in your LinkedIn that you're not having a great crystal ball, but I love your quote where you said, I have a fairly good Wi-Fi connection in terms of mentoring people. Mentoring, and TinyMagiq also is involved in making this compounding effect work, correct? So how did all of this come together?
Serendipity.
I love it.
That's just how it is. In fact, like if you take TinyMagiq itself, Sukumar, so Sukumar was my customer and he asked me, so I was very clear by the time I'm 45, I will quit my job.
Okay.
So that was 2006, March 2nd, 2006.
Okay.
March 2nd, 2007. So I was born in 72. Okay, the math works for 5 years. Okay. So interestingly, in one of my appraisal discussions, my manager in Microsoft said, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? What do you want to do? I said, I won't be in Microsoft. I would have resigned. I said, what? I said, yeah. March 2nd, 2027, I will resign. He's like, how are you so precise? So I said, like, till 45 is when I wanted to work. After that, I want to do something on my own. And over a period of time, I have worked in so many things. I found it hard to say that software really doesn't bring that wow to the people. Now, that's very true, right? Like if you look at enterprise software, especially, how many customers have really felt joyed at a launch of a product? So imagine, compare it with a new iPhone is launching. Has any product release in any company customers have celebrated like that?
In fact,
No.
it's true. In fact, your experience on a Sunday is always better than experience on a Monday, is commonly told. Because Sunday,
Correct.
you actually have much better software, much better access to software, even on your personal side, than compared to your enterprise side of things. I agree.
And no enterprise contract has been renewed without any negotiation.
True.
Now, look at the irony. Here we are talking about year-long engagement, deep customer relationship. Why? If you have such great relationship, if you have such great trust, why is the customer asking so many questions to renew a contract? Whereas something like an iPhone will just increase their price by 25% and people will still go and buy. Okay, they won't even ask what new feature is. So who is the customer trusting? Is an unknown customer trusting an unknown entity called Apple? They don't know anybody in person. Or in an enterprise thing where you have an account manager who has been with that account for 2 years, 3 years, built strong relationship with the execs, but they won't trust that person. They won't trust that company.
True.
Which trust is actually working and which is not working? So that's one of the reasons I said, okay, I want to do something beyond tech. And that's how TinyMagiq happened. I said, like, it's how we look at technology and how we look at software has to be fundamentally different. And it's not just about good code. It is about what is the code doing and who is it really helping and what is the cost of that code which is being written. So we started focusing on things like that. And I think that's the key thing. Even when I talk to whether it is startups or people within TinyMagiq, we kind of say, is that why are you even writing this code? Do you really have to write this code? And if you ask me after so much of time, the best code that is written is no code. Because you don't have code, it doesn't cost you money. It is safe. It won't fail. So the best code is the code which is never written.
It's more configured rather than actually custom.
No, you shouldn't even do
that also.
You shouldn't write code. Okay, if you can configure or use something, it's good.
Okay.
And because even configuration becomes a software by itself. Now, why is that important? Is the way how you think about doing it. Otherwise, the general tendency is, I have a hammer, so everything in the world is a me. I know software, so whatever you tell, I'll write software for it. And if I know Java, I'll write Java. If I know SAP, I'll write SAP. If I know AWS, all your software will go to AWS.
Very interesting. Yeah.
So the critical thing which after all these years, when people say, so like yesterday there was one startup who were coming and telling me, oh, we have done this. What is the thing that we could do better? I said, don't write any more line of code. All of you, three of you are in the engineering team. Stop it. Go sell. Meet your customers. Do sale of your. Somebody else, no, you don't have to write code. You have enough features. Go meet customers. Sell it to them. Each of you should do one sale in the next 2 months. That is your job, not writing code.
Correct. Okay. In fact, I have to admit one shameful fact is that all my life till I started with this startup, all my life I've always been standing or say, behind either as an account manager or as an actual delivery manager. Never actually have sold. I always thought it's somebody else's job. But more and more have been running the startup, I realize that should be front and center. Only then you actually do know what is needed. Sales often is construed as a not a very healthy word in the
Yeah,
techie's
correct.
mind. It's not true actually. Only when you actually sell, you know that there is a buyer and there is what the problem, real problem is, and what are you trying to solve.
And
Very,
that gets me to an interesting point. Microsoft also shifted my thinking quite drastically because I was a part of Microsoft India, whose 70% or 80% of the employees were in sales and marketing. Around
okay.
20% were only in services. I was a part of them.
Okay.
Having worked with, and I guess Microsoft has I got a chance to work with some very good sales guys. What I learned interestingly from them, a good seller is actually a good solution provider. Now look at it this way. Let's say you think of any time you went shopping. Let's just pick something as simple as, let's say, a cloth or a footwear, or even you go to a restaurant. Okay. You would have come across at least one or two people who you actually felt good buying something and then come back with a worry that, hey, did I make the right buy?
Okay.
Okay, but that will be very less. Probably it will be in a single digit percentage. And if you look at that interaction deeper, that person would have never sold you anything. That person would have been interested in what have you come for? What are your likes? What is it that you're trying to meet? That person would have spent more time understanding you. And then he would have presented some choices and you would have made the selection yourself. That person would have never said, buy this is good for you. And so a great salesperson is a person who can actually find a solution for the problem that you are having. Unfortunately, 95% of the software development today is not for that. They do it to meet some requirement, hearsay requirement.
True.
And the IT services model hasn't helped too much because there is an actual customer. Let's take, for example, if you take Walmart, for example, the actual customer is the one who comes to the shop. That customer is interacting with the clerk in the shop. That person is interacting with the IT team. The IT team is interacting with the IT manager. That IT manager is interacting with somebody who owns the retail business point of contact. That person is actually giving inputs to a BA who is in charge of the entire retail operations in Walmart. And this is the first person who Cognizant or Wipro will talk to. It means you're already 4 levels away from the customer. I'm just giving evidence to say how hearsay works.
Yeah.
Okay, and that person is the on-site guy. Now the on-site person will talk to the tech lead here. The tech lead will talk to the module lead will talk to the developer. By the time the guy sits down to code, the customer is some 10 levels away.
And talking about the level of documentation that we went through in the early stages of our software is just amazingly obscene right now, if I can use that word.
Yeah, correct. And we've got used to that habit. I call it a bad habit, okay, or bad way of thinking, that we just don't know how to develop software. For example, there are many examples, but I'll tell you this. So there was this guy I had met probably some 6-7 years ago, and he said, uh, I'm very passionate and about technology and problem solving. That past 1 year, I have sat down and I have wrote an entire application. Everything is ready where we could actually do stuff for, and he also had a religious thing. So he said, I have added these things. You can order a puja, you can see virtual puja, you can do streaming. I have done all that. Okay. So 1.5 years, this person has spent and built the whole thing.
Okay.
I asked him, okay, great. So how many products are there in your site? He said, no, the shopkeepers have to come and enter their inventory. I said, okay, how many priests or pujaris are there so that puja can be? So there's a separate registration form for that. Then I said, from which temples can we see? He said, oh, that is a very interesting. So you're telling me that you don't have any users? I said, yes.
1.5 years.
And that's not the end of the story.
Hmm.
3 months back, I met another call. It's a startup. They're doing a product. They've spent close to 1.5 crores.
Okay.
Okay, they have a team. Somebody has literally spent their hard-earned money. They have a team of, I think, around some 7-8 engineers working for them. Again, close to 14 to 16 months they have spent developing it. What is their revenue?
Okay.
Obviously, no users.
No users,
revenue.
no revenue. Okay. But
they
there
are still doing.
could also be the users who are trying to get the free version. No users at all.
There are some users there who are using free versions.
Okay.
But to me, I think if you don't have a user who doesn't want to pay for it, then what is the value of your product? Whose problem have you solved? And I'm not asking for $1 million. Even if you can't get somebody to pay you 100 rupees, you call Urban Club to claim your phone, they'll ask you 300 rupees. That means you're not even delivered that value. Okay, once in 3 months you call, it's 100 rupees per month. No, fact is you have not been able to deliver that value. You haven't solved a problem which somebody is not even think it's worth paying 100 rupees. And yes, getting 100 rupees is hard. In India, it's extremely hard.
True.
But on the other hand, in the same India, in a place like Vijayawada or Visakhapatnam, forget metros. You go to a mall, people still buy a 200 rupee movie ticket. Okay. So we are in a poor country, people don't money is actually not really that value a reason. You're not able to deliver that value with software. So finding the right kind of a problem for which you can make them spend money is no, unfortunately, this is not a part of software.
That's what I think, and I was alluding towards earlier, right? In terms of we are very uncomfortable as technologists to go and sell in front of people. We think it's actually writing software is more cool, and actually designing screens and everything is a lot more cooler than actually going in front of people and selling your features. Is not, it doesn't come naturally for everybody, and including me. It's taken me 1.5 years to unlearn those and saying, yeah, it's part of the deal.
But if you have a good solution, you will naturally feel.
Correct.
That's because we don't have the problem very clear in our head. That this is the problem and this is the solution. And when you go in and have a conversation. So let's say, for example, let's say you're a person who doesn't like sales. Okay, you're not good at sales. Okay. Now, I tell you, Gayatri, I'm going to make BMW for 100 rupees. Okay. And you'll get 20% commission. You will
Okay.
immediately take that sales job, no? BMW, you can sell for 1,000 rupees and 20% commission to you. You will jump at that opportunity, say, make me a dealer for them.
True.
Because in your head, it's very clear that BMW for 1,000 rupees is an excellent thing. There are many people who want that solution. I can go sell it. But it went to other software. That conviction is not there. Oh, I have a good solution to a problem which exists.
Okay, cool. I think that's a very clear way of thinking in terms of how to look at it from a solutions angle and think of problem solving rather than really creating more software for the sake of it. And
I don't like code.
okay. Coming from an enterprise architect, I find it very, very hard to believe, Kumaran, honestly.
Because I've seen code which is practically useless. To me, a lot of code is nothing but debt.
Hmm.
Why will I happy incurring debt?
Mhm. Yeah.
So to me, any code that is written is debt getting incurred.
Hmm.
I come from that middle class family where we won't even have an account in the family.
True, true. And tech debt, nobody actually looks at tech debt like that. Huh? I have tried to imprint that concept of tech debt in so many people because every time there's a tech debt, you're actually incurring cost in terms of time. Time to develop, time to fix issues, as well as the various aspects of. Given your wealth of experience in TinyMagiq and you being a mentor, what are the few advices that you give apart from the so far that we spoke about in terms of focusing on the customer and getting your story right in terms of solutioning and sales? What are the few? I mean,
Yeah, I think it's especially in the tech world with AI and other things coming. So if I started off by telling that I love failures, and I think people should fall in love with failure. I think that's a very important thing. Now, there are many people, I'll give many examples of people falling in love with failure. Any video game which is popular, all the people who play video games so seriously actually love failure. Because when you play a video game, you lose more than you win. Because once you clear a level, you're done. You go to the next level. You only win once, but you fail multiple times at the same level. So people actually love that failing and what they learn from that to go to the next thing. So if people have a problem with facing failures, software is not a place for it. You see errors, you will get bogged down. You see some exception getting, you will get demotivated. Rather, you should please say, why is this exception coming? Why is this error coming? Why is it that I don't understand? So, so that's, I think, super important. And I think the way with AI things are going, unless you have that thing of wanting to fail and treating this entire work as a game where you will lose a level and as you start doing it more and more, you will start playing a different level of game. You don't mind a project failing. You don't mind losing an account. Okay. You don't mind taking a risk and screwing up a customer engagement. So if it's going to be, or rather it's a strong warning that you say IT, good money, good job, bye-bye, days are over. Okay. And in fact, and what I see is like, if somebody comes and asks me, having worked in IT, what do you advise my kid? I said, like, unless you enjoy failure, don't even think of computer science. If you're going to join computer science now, by the time you finish 4 years, you'll be on the streets. You might as well be ready to do a Swiggy delivery if that job exists.
Okay.
Because all those things of, I call it number 9 spanner boy. Okay, nowadays we don't see that much, but when we were younger, you go to any mechanic shop, there'll be one small kid around. So there'll be one mechanic, he'll say, Tambi, number 9 spanner. So this guy will go get the number 9 spanner, and that's all he will do. He can get the tool and give it to him. Or he'll say, tighten this nut, he will tighten that nut. That's what we have been doing. And for that, we have been exorbitantly paid.
Agree. In fact, when I go to conferences and I speak about entrepreneurship, one of the first things I teach to people who is trying to listen is the de-addiction to the monthly salary. So unless you get yourself de-addicted to that monthly salary, you can't look outside of your potential talent, which is very true in terms of saying number 9 spanner. Interesting.
And the tough thing which we have to face with legacy is that for the past 35 years, the Indian tech industry has been doing only that. Now, people will get offended when they tell that, but if you just take a step back and see how many of products have we really launched, right? A handful of them. You can say Zoho, maybe Freshworks to some extent. And the other thing that didn't come from the IT services world. It came from UPI, which is a completely different thing altogether.
True.
So the IT services industry itself is not very geared for doing something like that. It ran well, but I think that ability, so unless we're willing to fail, you can't learn something new and pick up something which is not safe. So the moment we play safe, your learning goes down drastically.
True. I think that is the hardest thing to accept, that sometimes you also have to do a unlearning and take a hard look at oneself to see whether
that's something. See, I don't think you can unlearn anything. I think that's a misconception. There's nothing like unlearning as something.
Okay.
So it is like, I'll give an example. Okay. Unlearn the fact that Kumaran wore glasses. How will you unlearn?
Okay.
You know it, you know it. You cannot unknow it.
Okay. The way to think about it is the way I explain unlearning is something that you have your own. Sometimes you have your green glasses or biases. If I in my head somehow I think Kumaran is wearing a green glass, I have to find a way to unsee it and actually see the real picture of Kumaran. That is the part of unlearning I'm talking about, not necessarily that.
Reframing it or
recontexting. Yeah.
So it'd be like, oh, okay, so that thing worked at that point in time. In this, at least have a curiosity to say, is this valid anymore?
Correct.
And the toughest problem is, it's got to do with human psychology also, is that the biggest challenge, the biggest failure that we will face is our success. I know that was confusing, okay? Why I call the biggest failure is our success is because your success reinforces the way that you have done things. You take anything for that example. Now, that will make you a failure going against that success.
Okay.
You will fail going against that success. So this path has taken you towards success. Okay. Now you try going against that path. You won't be able to. You will fail miserably.
Okay. Interesting. Very, very philosophical, Kumaran. I agree in terms of saying, if you have a success already done and it's taken a path, it will take an enormous amount of energy or effort to relook at that path.
Yeah. And you will 90% fail trying to take another path.
Hmm.
Because the moment you take a new path, some blocker will come. You'll go back to your old.
Okay. True.
Because that has given you success. So that way, how can you fight your own experience? And in another, if I go a little deeper, you have to fight your own belief. And belief is the thing that takes you forward. How will you fight something which is keeping you alive?
Very, very profound. Huh? I'm sure our listeners are going to wonder what.
What's happening? Correct.
Very nice.
So I think one of the things in architecture is also, so the deeper you start looking at it, good solutions has got a lot more things. It's not just code. It's got to do with psychology, neuroscience. And interestingly, a lot of answers are there in our spirituality, but people can't connect to it.
Okay.
Now, just probably last funny thing I would say, we're working with AI, right? Okay. And say, oh, hallucination, big problem. Okay. We don't know how. I mean, like, how can we work with hallucination? Now, you need to have predictability. Okay. So when I talk to AI, I tell those people who have been in the Indian subcontinent are the best people to do AI applications. They are well qualified. Okay. We have been well qualified for multiple generations.
Okay.
Okay. I'll give evidence for
that. Please.
Okay. You remember your 10th standard?
Vaguely.
Vaguely. Which school did you go to?
I went to Rani Mai school in Arepuram.
So when you entered 10th, what did your parents and other teachers tell you? 10th, you get good marks, you are settled. Then you studied hard.
Yeah.
Science group, done life.
Okay.
You got science group. Then what did they tell you? 12th, you get good marks, good college, you are settled. You believed that also.
Correct.
You studied hard. You got into a good college.
Yeah.
What did they tell you? Now you study hard, get good placement, your life is settled.
True.
You studied hard. Campus interview. You got a job. Okay. Now imagine there are two choices. Either you got a big job, big company, or a small company. If you got a small company, then work a little more hard and you get into a bigger company in life. Then you got into a big company. This is like get a little position, you're 27, 25, 27 at that time. Now get another person of that same profile, your job is still like this settled. Have one kid, your life is settled. Has your life settled now? What more hallucination do I have to give as proof? Our entire life has been hallucination. It's called Maya.
It's perpetually you are given the next one and you have to run towards it. That's it.
So our entire life has been a hallucination. And we are very fine with it. Nobody has died following this hallucination.
Okay.
So I keep telling that, it's like there are things which we can handle very well if we look at the bigger scheme of things. Right? So how do you handle hallucination? There are ways in which we handle hallucination in life. Get the same concepts to software, you will be able to do a good AI application. Did you say, "Hey, Mama, Amma, you told me I get good marks in 12th. I got. After that, I didn't get. I'm not talking to you. Get lost." We didn't do that, no?
Correct.
So that same thing, right? So how do you handle that, right? How do you handle that thing which goes beyond the scope? So I think so software That's where I like to call myself more as an architect than a thing. And it's another sad thing that 99% of the world doesn't understand architecture or what architect is.
Moment you
But-
say architecture, there'll be like 6 different architects that you ask. Are you a security architect, IT architect, infrastructure architect, or so many different names, enterprise architect? And nobody understands also what is the output that you are actually trying to give also.
So that's correct. But an architect is somebody who ensures happiness of the user. Simple. An architect has to take responsibility for that. And an architecture is a set of process, people, and technology capabilities which will ensure that happens.
True. Nicely put. I like this. I like this way of talking about architecture and philosophy and neuroscience and bringing all of this together, Kumaran. Any last words that you want to give to our listeners? I have tremendously enjoyed this conversation, Kumaran, in terms of starting your career as well as your going in depth in terms of effect of compounding that you spoke about and learning and continuous learning. And I have tremendously enjoyed. I hope our listeners enjoy too. Any thoughts?
Be curious about how you can enjoy failure.
Okay, nice. That one is actually will take us all places. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you a very happy New Year coming up. And I'll see you in the next conference when we meet, Kumaran.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Gayatri.
Thank you so much. Have a good.
Yeah.
Bye. Nice.
Bye.
We thank Siddharth for the music and Anita for promoting the Software People stories.
If you like this episode,
Please subscribe on your favorite podcast client.
And spread the word in your network.
if you'd like to share your story,
Contact us at podcasts@pm-powerconsulting.com.